Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Diamante, and today it has hit lower than 75 degrees in the state of Florida. So we're gonna do a fall makeup look. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then please keep on watching. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I am back, or you know, hopefully back. Sorry, my Teams is going off, you know, corporate baddie things. Let me enter this real quick so I can give you guys my undivided attention.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.
I have officially signed off for the night, which is really good. I'm getting ready for my childhood bestie's birthday, so happy birthday, Alec. And I figured, like, why should I not do like a sit down, get ready with me so you guys know what I've been up to. Let me start off by saying that I have tried to film like an explanation on what's been going on multiple times, but I just feel like I haven't really known like what to say, how much to say. And so I figured, you know, since it's just us girls, well, mainly girls, since like majority of my following is girls, I don't want to not include anybody else, but since it's just us girls, I can just catch up, do my makeup, the whole shebang. Anyways, I'm gonna make a Red Bull. I like my Red Bull ice, so yeah, and this is my like Halloween cup. I am like one of those people that has like a seasonal cup every like holiday and stuff like that. So anyway, prepare for the ASMR. Okay, so today I think we're definitely gonna do like a fall kind of look, so I'm really excited. I have pulled out my tried and trues for this, like at least ones that I feel like would be good. So I've pulled out Miss Jaclyn Hill Morphe #1, but then I've also pulled Miss Jaclyn Hill Morphe #2, and I think that I'm gravitating towards this one for the look. I'm really excited about this fall season. So I guess you guys kind of want to know what's the tea. Well, if you guys don't follow me on social media, then you would not know that me and Lou and Chico moved to Florida. So yay, super excited about that. That has been on my vision board for a really long time, which is why you see the new glam room behind you, and it does get a ton of light, which is really good. Super excited about that. This room is like nowhere near done. Like the whole house in general is nowhere near done, and I have been like getting footage of like getting stuff for the house. I have like footage from the move and all that stuff. I don't know, I've been having really bad imposter syndrome about like filming, and so I figured like the best way to kind of like dip my toe in was just to like do something that I was familiar with, so then I could feel more comfortable about coming back and like deciding what kind of content I want to put out into the world, and like what stuff I'm kind of just gonna keep in the archives. So yeah, that has been the tea on what's going on. So first things first is Lou and I, we decided that we were gonna move. This was a decision that we made like early January 2023, which is why, like, if you guys remember, and by the way, I'm gonna use the P. Louise base in Rumor 1 for my eyeshadow primer. Anyway, if you guys remember, like in my engagement Q&A, I had said that there were things that were like higher on the priority list of things that like we wanted to do, and like goals that we had, like things that we wanted to pay for, and the move was one of those things. As you guys know, I have been at my job for almost 2 years at this point, and I do have a manifesting video on that, which I may, like, I go back and forth. Like, I make it private sometimes, and then I go back and I make it public. Like, it depends, like, on my mood and, like, who I feel like is watching my content. Because sometimes, like, I don't know, I've been, like, super, like, protective about, like, my space and, like, who's watching my content. Because if you guys don't know, I've been, like, doxxed in the past, and I have had people who find information out about me that I don't want finding out information about. This is like, especially for my estrangement that I have with my family. So it's like hard for me to want to post certain things that are happening in real time, because I know that those people are eventually going to be updated about my life, and I just feel like it's a privilege to know about me. It's a privilege to know about like my family. And so, you know, certain people that don't have that privilege anymore have also found ways to, you know, like find me on social media or like get information through other people who follow me. And so sometimes because of that, I don't like to share things that happen. We decided that we were gonna move. We thought everything was all gravy. We had found the place that we liked back in March. And so we applied to it right away. You know, I had the days off, Lou had the days off from work, and we didn't hear anything back. And we knew like we probably wouldn't be hearing back until like May, right? And we were moving towards the end of May. So we get a call. They tell us that, okay, I'm gonna be using my JH32 and I'm gonna be going in first. I just kind of want to set the primer, so I'm gonna just use that shade Certified and just like set the primer. So they call us and they tell us that the construction has been delayed, which is like super classic, and that we wouldn't be able to move in until July. We were like, okay, that's fine. Just refund us our application money and we'll look elsewhere for a place, because we just like don't want to be in between places when we move down to Florida. So we started applying to other places. No one's getting back to us. It's kind of weird. You know, we've never had issues with like renting places before. So then they tell us that the reason why they're turning us down, I'm gonna go in with that same brush in the shade Perfectionist. Then they tell us that the reason why is because something comes up on our background check that we didn't know about, and it kind of like, you know, flags us as like a risk to rent to. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Long story short, it has something to do with housing court. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird considering the fact that we have never been served, and this motion goes back to January of 2023, and they offered us an extra year to renew in March of 2023. So none of this makes sense to us. Long story short, having this thing on our background check basically like made it super impossible for us to be able to find a place to live. And so nowhere with like these big box rental places wanted to take us, which I totally understand, like how that would look on paper. And so we were fighting with the leasing office already, like, you know, getting ready to leave. Like we had booked movers, like everything was already like in place, fighting with the leasing office to like get this thing off our record. Well, they tell us that it's like out of their hands, like there's nothing that they can do about it, that they need to go to court to get it figured out. I'm going in now with the shade Love Handles, and I don't want to go into too much detail about like what exactly it is and like, you know, how I've gone about fixing it or like what the name of the company is, because there is a large chance that Lou and I will be pursuing legal action, because this whole thing has honestly been extremely unsettling. Like there's no other way that I can put it aside from that. Long story short, a family member of Lou's winds up taking us in, and we had told this family member like, it'll just be a month. We have a place that is willing to work with us. This is actually the place that had delayed their construction until July. And so we had told this place like, oh, by the way, this is going on. Our previous leasing office is telling us that they're gonna take care of it. Are you willing to work with us? They had told us yes. So we were like, okay, like this will be good. It's fine, like we'll just wait the month. So we weren't looking at any other places. Like we're just every day calling the leasing office, trying to get a handle of like, you know, like what's going on. And nobody's calling us, nobody's getting back to us. It's all a very frustrating thing, especially with like being in another state now and not being able to like go into the leasing office in person, because if it was up to me, I honestly probably would have like sat in that leasing office every day until they resolved my issue. But like, I didn't have time to do that. Like I said, flights were already booked. I'm gonna go in now with the shade Comfort Zone, and same thing, I'm gonna put this all over my crease. They tell us that they've handled it, this and that. Well, we are already approaching the end of our time with this family member, and they deny our application. And so I was like, holy crap, what are we gonna do? I am gonna need to look into like private landlords, because I just can't like keep wasting money on application fees and getting denied everywhere and having to explain this everywhere. And on top of that, like, I'm gonna say, without saying too much, like, you know, it is a very like hard thing to like live with family after you've like removed yourself from family for so long. And we were super grateful that we were able to be there for, it was like a month. But I will say that, you know, there were just like certain things with like the way that this person ran their household that made us uncomfortable. And, you know, because of the fact that like I realized very quickly that what I was anticipating spending for my move was actually going to cost me more. We didn't vocalize anything as far as like, you know, like certain things that we saw, because we just wanted to keep peace and harmony in the house for like the sake of our livelihood during that month. So yeah, all our stuff during this month was in storage. And funny enough, you know, prior to our stuff being in storage, we hired a scammer moving company, and the moving company wound up stealing my deposit. And again, like without saying too much, I mean, aside from the fact that like the moving industry is a scam, that's like a whole other thing that like now I need to pursue a separate like legal action thing for. So yeah, this whole thing has been like a series of unfortunate events from like May, let's say from April all the way until August. So yeah, so obviously no house, right? No house is the first thing. The second thing is, you know, the scammer moving company. The third thing was, you know, having to live with a family member in situations that were not ideal. And the fourth thing was, you know, like in conjunction with the no housing thing, the fact that the move was gonna cost us way more than we anticipated. So those things right there. And 5, my mental health rapidly deteriorating, which is a big reason why I've been gone. I will just say, I don't want to give like the full tea of like what happened, but I'm just gonna say like the main thing is, if you live in the state of Florida or really like anywhere in the South, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't have AC on in your house. And that is like really alarming to me. Like, I feel like, you know, it's the summertime. That means that my light bill is gonna be higher. Like, that's a cost that I'm anticipating having every summer. I've lived in places where it's been over 100 degrees in the summer, and I've never actively shut off my AC, especially living somewhere where it's more humid, because I hate to break it to you, if you turn off your AC in the summer and you live somewhere where it's humid, you probably have mold in your walls, and that's the tea. So let me just say that. And I just wasn't gonna have fights with people about things that are common sense and like compromise my comfort, and especially compromise my 14-year-old dog's comfort. I feel like I'm just not gonna do that. So like I said, I was super grateful about like the time that this person gave us there. And like, my thing about, you know, doing something kind for somebody is, if you're gonna do somebody a favor, do not throw that back in somebody's face, because that just makes you look tacky. There, I said it. And if you're watching this, I really pray that you are able to resolve conflict in a way that's respectful in the future, because there are certain things that like I have encountered from people, and especially people that are older than me, and it is shocking. So that's that. So yeah, anyway, yeah, that whole situation was just like the whole thing was just bad. There's no other way for me to put it. The whole situation was just bad. We finally like wound up finding a place, and I was super grateful about that. They had me in the first half. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I'm gonna take the shade Feeling Myself, and I'm gonna put that all over my crease as well to make this orange. So yeah, I will just say that that whole situation really compromised my mental health, you know, because we had that situation at a family member's house. We had to rent Airbnbs for the next few months, and that was like super stressful and very expensive, and 10 out of 10 would not recommend, but I was literally like already at the point where I could not re-sign my lease because my lease was gonna go up like an extra $300. So I could not do that. I literally like physically could not afford to do that. And yeah, like I was already like in Florida, so there was just like no way. That was a really stressful situation. There are people that like love living like the nomad life, and that is their vibe, and I have a lot of respect for those people, but I am somebody that has lots of maternal placements in my like chart. Cancer is like the heart of the home. I constantly like love to be at home, and then the other one is Virgo, and like Virgo is like such a grounding sign. Like I need to feel grounded, and I was not feeling that at all. I'm gonna take my JH31 and I'm gonna go in with the shade My Man. I'm gonna put this like on the outer corners of my eyes. But I will say, you know, some of my highlights this summer were being able to see Elena, which was really nice. I only get to see her like maybe once or twice a year. And then also getting to see Tori, which again was really nice. I get to see my friends maybe once or twice a year. So that was really cool. And I really enjoyed my time with them. And yeah, those were my highlights of the summer. Aside from that, we've really been enjoying living in Florida. I love it here. I've been seeing my sister a ton here. Lou really loves it here too, which makes me feel like so happy, because I was like nervous about, you know, like him coming to a new state and like how he would adjust, but I honestly feel like this state is meant for him because there's a lot of Puerto Rican people here in Florida, and like it kind of feels like being in Puerto Rico a little bit. It kind of also feels like being in New York a little bit, because there's like a lot of like snowbirds who like wind up moving here, so it feels really nice. And on top of that, I do have an annual pass. I've been enjoying going to Disney like way more than I should. And then in the midst of all this, one of the people like at my job left, and I was like really nervous about that, because I was like, I cannot have one more thing that doesn't feel stable in my life right now. And now here, life is giving me one more thing that doesn't feel stable, and Lord knows if I don't feel stable, and change for cancers is really hard. I don't feel good. Like it really creates like such a big sense of anxiety for me. I'm using my JH37 and I'm going in with the shade Homebody now, and this is like all the way at the end. I'm gonna go back in and blend My Man a little bit. Anyway, so that has not been fun, and I was really anxious about that, and I couldn't like pinpoint why, and I realized that it's because I've had like so much stuff like happening all at once, and like having to like adapt to all that change all at once proved to be super difficult. And I was like, I think I need to give myself some time, because being in this state of like fight or flight has been awful for my nervous system, like awful for my mental health. So yeah, so that was super hard. And yeah, I, you know, especially like only being in the corporate world for like 4 years, there were just like certain things that like I had not really seen yet, because as you guys know, I've always been the person that like leaves a job first. And so yeah, there were just certain things that I hadn't seen, and I was like, I am panicking right now. So we moved into this place towards the end of August, which shout out to my realtor, because She honestly really did that, and you know, she gave us such a wonderful home, and this house is like so much better than I could have ever expected. And that's the thing that I will say is that, like, and maybe I'll do like a whole separate video about like, you know, manifesting this place, but I will always say that rejection is God's protection, and I really like feel that so much in my life. And I really feel like, you know, even though sometimes things seem hard and sometimes it seems like, how am I gonna overcome this situation, right? How am I gonna like get over this hardship? In the end, it always works itself out. And for that, like, I'm super grateful, because I know that, like, I just see like God's blessing in so many things, and like my grandparents' blessing in so many things. So yeah, like this place is such a wonderful place. It's so quiet, and it really is like all the things I want. Like, how freaking gorgeous. I mean, it's not done yet, but like, look at even like the lighting that comes into the glam room. Like, it is seriously more than I could have ever like hoped for. So I will say, there's no timing like God's timing. And yeah, this has been such a like wonderful place for us, and we love it here so far. And I can't wait to like show you guys like more of the content of like putting this house together. And it has like such good energy, which is so good. I'm going in with the shade Flawed and Odd, and I'm using my finger to like tap that in. So pretty. I thought things were going back to normal, and you know, I was like, everything is gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. It's working itself out. And so last month we went on a trip to Boston for a really fun conference called Inbound. And they had a lot of really good keynotes there. Like, they had Derek Jeter there, Reese Witherspoon was there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like such a like meaningful thing, because you see people in movies all the time and you're like, oh yeah, like I'm never gonna meet that person, or like I'm never gonna see that person in real life, and then you do. And it's like, I'm so grateful to be able to like have access to spaces like that, and to be able to listen to somebody speak, even if it's for like 20 minutes, like somebody who inspires me. And like, you know, someday I would love to have my own business and have it be something that is like sustainable and like financially freeing for me. I'm super grateful that I was able to go. And yeah, the conference was in Boston. We had such a fun time. And then 2 weeks ago, I got someone else like on my team told me they were leaving. And so not only were they leaving, but someone else in my team is also leaving, like, and their last day was the same day. And yeah, I'm gonna go in. This is the Hello Kitty ColourPop palettes. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the shade Beachy. But yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? I am freaking out. And then last week, somebody else told me that they are leaving. And so that has all been, you know, lots of fun. I will say I am really happy for those people, and also really sad, because the place where I work has been such a great environment for me. And you know, I've worked a ton of jobs in my lifetime, and I will say there have been lots of jobs that I have to like tolerate people at. Like, you know, I can just get along like because I'm here collecting a check, but this is the first time that I genuinely feel like I like everybody that I work with. I'm just going in with a little bit of I'm feeling myself again. But yeah, so I was super sad, but like I said, I know change is inevitable, and whatever you're not changing, you're choosing. And so I know that these people are leaving for more growth, and I'm really happy for them. But yeah, okay, so I'm going in with my One Size Beauty Secure the Blur primer. And this is like some of the best primer ever. So overall, Florida has been so much fun. I live in Orlando, so if you guys want to give me your recommendations for things to do, places to go, things to eat. Please comment down below. Yeah, it's like so surreal to be back in Florida. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I was actually born in Miami, and I moved to New York when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and my dream was always to go back because before my grandparents moved to Colombia full-time, they used to have a house in Miami, and I used to go every summer. Like, a lot of you guys that know me in person know that I used to go to Florida every summer when I was little. By the way, I'm using my House Labs foundation. This one is in the shade 220 light medium warm. I always knew like that I wanted to come back. Like, I have such a love for New York because it's where I was raised, and it's like where I've made some wonderful, wonderful friends and great memories. But I just hate the snow. I hate the snow, and you know, cost of living is very expensive, and people ask me all the time if I see myself moving back, and I will never say never because, you know, anything can happen, right? Like, I could always move back, but I will say that as of right now, like, just like what I can get here, like down south, versus like what I could have in New York for like what I'm paying now, it, like, I would be downgrading. Like, I would need to make so much money for me to be able to like maintain the lifestyle that we have here. And yeah, I am not making that money yet, but nobody is to say that I won't, because I have big plans for myself. I plan on being a millionaire someday, and so nobody is saying that I won't do those things, but right now it's just not feasible. But yeah, so I am super happy here. I don't know like when I have plans to go back to New York, which is another thing that like I eventually need to do, is plan a trip to go back to New York, because Lou's best friend just had a baby, and I haven't seen my friends like in New York in a really long time. And I have had people come to visit me, which has been so nice. So I love being able to like show people like where I live and stuff like that, but I need a bagel. I need a bagel. I need a good slice of pizza. There's lots of things that I can't get here. I'm gonna go in with my Stay Naked Quickie concealer. This one is from Urban Decay. I'm in the shade 40 NN. But yeah, so I do hopefully plan on going back. I would also like to get some more travel in now that like we're a little bit more stable. My favorite thing about this is, look at this little like kabuki brush that it has. I really love that, and it comes with a lot, so I'm here for it. I just kind of like spread it out first, and then I'm gonna go back in and like blend it out with my beauty blender. I need to plan some travel, and we also need to start at least like looking into our wedding. I don't know if we're gonna start planning yet. I don't know if I have the mental capacity to start planning a wedding, but one thing is for sure is, like, I think I told you guys this in my engagement video, is that I really need a planner. I need a planner because there's no way that I'm about to start doing all these things by myself. I'm gonna go in with my powder foundation from One Size Beauty, and this one is in the shade Fair 5NG. I just want to like lock in the foundation that I have on. But yeah, so overall, lots of big plans, and yeah, we're very excited. I'm using my One Size Beauty translucent powder, and I'm using my beauty blender puff. So anyway, like I said, I've been seeing my sister a lot, so I've been going down to SoFlo a whole bunch, and that has been so fun. And y'all, my sister, first of all, she's 15 years old. Like, I'm feeling very old right now. But the second thing is that she has been playing the flute for a really long time. And before she went into high school, I had told her to think about joining marching bands because, as you guys know, your girl was on the snares in marching bands when I was in school, and she has been loving it. And at first she only wanted to do concert band, and so to be able to see her like perform at a competition has been really, really cool. Just to be able to watch like your siblings do something that you enjoyed to do when you were younger. I don't know, there's just something about that that's like so healing, and I love that for her. Although, you know, she does play the flute and not the snares, and they definitely need more girls on their drum line. So that has been so fun to watch, and super grateful to be so close to her where I can just come down whenever, and yeah, like literally whenever she needs me, like I can just come. So it's been really good, like in order to be able to like be present. I'm using my JH39 and I'm gonna go in with Feeling Myself again, and then we're just gonna make this darker throughout. But anyway, so yeah, I have been, you know, just connecting with my friends. My sister's uncle also lives here in Orlando, so we've been able to see him a lot, and him and Lou get along really well, and that makes me really happy because it's hard coming to a new state and like having to make friends again. So I'm really happy for him and that they have such a good bond, especially because it is like my family. I'm back in with my JH39 and I'm using that shade, My Man. We did go to the beach once this summer, and it's a shame. I need to go more. As somebody who lives in Florida, it has just been so hot, let me tell you. And speaking of hot and like global warming, y'all, we went to Indian Rocks Beach like a couple months ago, and like I can't even stress to you how freaking hot it was. I just can't, like, it literally felt like I was in a hot tub. I'm using my JH38 and I'm going in with the shade Homebody. Yeah, make sure you guys are doing your part to save the planet because, y'all, Mother Nature, she's sick of us. Guys, look how pretty this looks though. This is very like fall. Very fall. I like it. Picasso, it's all the things. I guess I could tell you guys more about my mental health, which, like I said, has not been the best. I'm gonna go in with my Tarte Sculpt Tape, and this one is in the shade Cool Bronze. I have been trying to get it together with my mental health, and as you guys know, therapy is like a huge part of my routine. Let me just say a couple of things. So, first of all, my therapist told me that I suffer from anxiety, which like is not news to me. I think I've known that for a really, really long time. And I just like, I never knew. I just always thought like I was just like, which I guess is basically like kind of what anxiety is, right? I just thought I was like chronically nervous, like all the time. As I was told when I was younger, I've always been a nervous Nelly, and my therapist has suggested that I potentially try to get on medication. Maybe not something every day, but for when I'm feeling particularly anxious, because recently when I've been feeling anxious, y'all, it's like I am just spiraling. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I also like, I'm saying this to you guys more because I kind of want to, number one, continue to talk about mental health on my platform because I feel like you guys really like to hear about my mental health. but also because I want to reduce the stigma that's attached to being medicated. I'm not on medication yet. I'm happy to bring you guys along for that journey, but I do want to say that if it is something that I disclose on my channel, I am going to say that what works for me may not work for everybody. And so that's just really important to keep in mind as you guys continue following me on my mental health journey. And in addition to the anxiety, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, but there is the chance that I might have ADHD or be neurodivergent in some kind of way. And I don't think I've always known this, because I think I've always lived in like a high pressure, high achievement household, which was fine. And so I think a lot of the stuff that I was able to get through like school and growing up, I think was mainly like out of like, I guess like survival mode. Now I can't really do it anymore. And so these are all things that I need to get tested. And I am looking forward to it, but also kind of scared about it, because I don't know, like if I get on medication, and this is like, you know, something that people have reassured me doesn't happen, but if I get on medication, am I gonna lose my sparkle? It just makes me nervous. And so I want to still feel like me when I'm on medication. That is one thing that I've been nervous about, which I know it's like such a silly thing to be nervous about, because medication should be there to help me, not to make me feel like I can't do something. So I am really excited about bringing you guys along for that journey. And then the other thing that I want to tell you guys about, which I haven't really spoken to too much about on camera, but I want to talk about it because I feel like it's really, really important. So, as you guys know, a few years back, I went on like a very, very big and dramatic weight loss journey, and I lost like over 50 pounds. And I was very proud of myself, and you know, going to the gym all the time and being able to eat food that was more dense in nutrients. And I was really happy with my results. I still was dealing with like a lot of, and trigger warning by the way, I am going to be talking about like weight loss and like body image and all those things. So anyway, I was dealing with a lot of body dysmorphia still at the time. And honestly, I think when I lost weight the first time, like I think I even became more conscious of my body when I lost weight. And I've always had a very unhealthy relationship with my weight. And the liquid blush that I'm using, guys, is the Rare Beauty in the shade Bliss, and then I'm gonna like put powder on top of all of this. But yeah, so the first time around when I lost weight, I had a really unhealthy relationship with everything, with food, like, and these are like all the things that like they tell you to take care of as you're losing weight before you lose weight, so that way you don't feel like this. I think I've spoken a little bit about this, but I do have psoriasis, which is an autoimmune disease. Autoimmune diseases cause the body to feel inflamed, especially during stress, which means that I have flare-ups. So because of this permanent like state of anxiety and like stress that I'm in, it has been really hard to manage my weight. And so because of that, and I'm not going to attribute everything to that, but I will attribute like my mental health to that, especially this past few months. I will say that that has caused me to gain weight, and now I'm at the point when I need to start from scratch. And I'm not saying this because I'm like, you know, like beating myself up about it, but this is because I want to be transparent with you guys, since, you know, I have spoken a lot about health and fitness and my lifestyle journey on my platform before, and I feel like it's my responsibility to tell you guys that bodies are meant to fluctuate, and that's okay. And I can't wait to tell you guys more about like my health and how I'm fixing that, and how I'm repairing my relationship with a lot of the things that I've had issues with in the past. So So yeah, this is just a reminder to be kind to yourself, because we aren't kind to ourselves enough, and we are our own worst critics. And then I'm using my Aloha Honey shade, the Hello Kitty ColourPop Cosmetics Blush. And yeah, I really like this one because it's like a pinky kind of shade. Anyway, so yeah, I would say all those things as of right now have been my life recently. I will also say that although I am like I'm clearly in a season of change, this has really taught me a lot about, well, number one, making sure that I put my mental health first, but number two is that I have friends that I can lean on, and that nobody's too good to ask for help. And I'm super grateful of like all the friendships that I've had, and like all the people who have like helped with us moving down here, because let me tell you something, it really takes a village. And like, I mean, I know people typically say that about like raising children, but I feel like I see that now more than ever, and super grateful to have all these wonderful, magnificent people in my life. Okay, next thing I'm gonna go in with is, okay, I'm going in with my ColourPop Avatar collection, and I'm going in with the shade Got Glow. It's the shade right here, and I really like these. I don't use them as much as I should, and that is because I really like my Jeffree Star highlighters. I really do. Which, speaking of, guys, do you guys see the newest Shane Dawson conspiracy theory episode? Because that whole thing, if you guys haven't watched it, you totally should. And like, I loved seeing Jeffree Star in there. Like, I feel like, I don't know, people need to come back to YouTube. I really like TikTok. The short form content is fun to film, but there's just something about like sitting at home, being able to turn on your TV and watching a YouTube video. It gives me so much serotonin. And anyway, I appreciate you guys so much for being patient throughout me going ghost. Get your bag if you're being consistent. Like, continue to be consistent and like work towards your dreams. But the other thing too is like, definitely take breaks where you need to take breaks. That's also another reason why I was like, I really need to take a break, is because like my mental health has not been the best, and I firmly believe that like you should take breaks. And I also, this is like just true for me, as transparent as like I want to be with you guys about my mental health and stuff like that. Like, I love to come into this space and use my platform, you know, like the very small platform that I have, which, like I said, I love you guys. You guys are all angels. But I like to come into this like space, and I don't like to fill it with like negativity and like me complaining. So this is why you guys are getting a catch up video now, because like I said, my mental health was not doing so hot like a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, and I've really been working on just like trying to be present with myself and like putting that first, because like, you know, your relationship with yourself is the longest relationship that you'll ever have. So if that's not in a good place, then you can't expect all the other relationships that you're in to be in a good place, and you can't really show up the way that you want to show up in those relationships. So that has been something that I really, really try to emphasize, and like I can't stress it enough. Also, if you guys must know, Atlanta is coming down in a couple weeks, so I'm very excited to see my best friend, even though I just saw her in the summer. But if I get to see her, like I said, twice in a calendar year, I am so grateful. So we are going to Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm very excited about that. I did see the remake of The Exorcism with Lou last week, and that was quite a movie. I don't think it's better than the original because I feel like some of these remakes, like you can never, like, I don't know, they're just not as good as the originals. But I will say this one was pretty dang scary, so I definitely recommend that. I also, what else did we see recently? Oh, we saw that the new Nun movie, and that one was very, very scary. So as you guys know, we're really into spooky season around here. Oh my gosh, guys, I didn't even tell you guys the best part about like the past few months. I took off on Friday, which ironically was Friday the 13th, but Lou went to Disney World for the first time in his entire life. Yeah, I'm like so shook about that. I cannot believe that it was his first time ever going to Disney World, and like to be able to like do that with him was so special. Like I can't even describe it. So I'm so grateful that now both of us have annual passes, and so now we can just go whenever we want. But yeah, I am like so pumped that we got to go together and that I got to be there for his first time, and we literally had the best time. And yeah, I cannot wait to go to Disney and enjoy it when it's less hot outside, because that has been, like I said, the craziest thing about living here is the heat. I'm going in with my cream gel liner from the Avatar collection. This is the shade Fiery Fierce. It's the one that has Zuko on the unicorn. Okay, perfect. And by the way, if you're wondering what mascara I'm using the Benefit Roller Lash mascara because I really have been enjoying that one. For lips today, I'm just gonna keep it simple because honestly we're doing a lot and this is not like a fancy dinner, but I don't know, I was in the mood to do something fun. I was over here chismoseando with you guys, so I'm feeling good about it. I'm gonna go in with my, first of all, Miss Pearl. This needs to get sharpened. Oh, anyway, I'm going in with my NYX liner in the shade Nutmeg. This is a really great shade and I really like this. Give me some recommendations on what you guys are doing for the spooky season, especially here in Orlando. I'm going in with the Butter Gloss from NYX in the shade Fortune Cookie. Wow, it has been a while since I have done makeup and it feels like riding a bike. I do really want to get back to it. I was really trying to wait until I found something that I really liked to be able to review. For the sake of being fiscally responsible, I almost think this is better. Anyways, I am gonna put some setting spray on. This is the One Size Beauty one as well. As good as it is, it gives hairspray vibes. All right, I'm gonna go change and then I'll do the outro of this video. All right, so thank you guys so much for sticking around if you made it all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Like I said, I will be doing some more like home decor videos. I'm really gonna like try and get back on here. So I appreciate you guys so much for being patient with me, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.